What's up, NASCAR? Man, yeah, I've been bad, right? So I didn't do much trading or studying last week. Last week I made another box for my dashboard up here. It's not on this screen. It is, yeah, here it is. It's talking about the not the RSI. That's this guy here. It's talking about the slope of the 200 moving average. Yeah, so last week I did a lot more with my rental properties, and I didn't spend much time. So I can't tell you about what happened last week, but I do know that just kind of looking back and forth, it looked like ABVC was one of them that was moving. One of the sites, let me see if I can pull up a site that I use. One of the sites that I use, Finviz, but I also use, and this will show you some of the movers from the day. But I also use StockTwits, and then with StockTwits, like with Finviz, what you see for that day is all that you get. But if you go to StockTwits, it will have a newsletter, and you can go back every day and see what the daily rip was for the day, what was moving for the day, and I believe that they actually have the heat map for that day as well. So this is for the weekend. Earnings for the week. Let's see. SoFi, Mickey D's, Western, Pfizer, Caterpillar. Did you make any moves? You make any moves this past week? Profitable any? I know you said that you were ahead of one of those runners, but I think it was ABVC we were talking about, right? So ABVC, I guess you noticed that it was a potential to move, but it did move up. I think you said you didn't jump on it, but anyway, when it came to the actual trading hours, it just kind of kept tanking. So probably good idea not to get into it, but did you get into it at all? Alright, so we got Caesars, Qualcomm, Palantir. I wonder, PLTR, Palantir. I wonder how that's looking. Because Palantir is one that I know a lot of folks who trade or have traded with day trading. But she's been going down. She's been going down, down, down. But one of the indicators that I made here recently is this descending trend line. So if you see this descending trend line, at least for the 15-minute time frame, it's way up here, right? So I mean, can it crest this? Sure, but it's got from here, which is here, it's got to go that far. It's got to go another 5% at least to get up to that mark before you say, oh yeah, well, it's definitely doing something different from a descending trend to an ascending trend. So I wanted to see if I could come up with a script for ABVC just to make it work. But again, it's not really uptrending. So there were a few bars in there that you could look at for an uptrend movement. So I just want to see if I could find some entries there. Not on the 1 minute, not on the 2 minute time frame, maybe the 1 minute time frame. Oh, and I did figure out how to make those boxes, make the rectangles. Let's see. I think I did. I said I was going to work on that. Rectangle practice. Let's see. Need that for the time being. All right, rectangle practice. That's this guy. So, and actually coming up with the points for the rectangle is just about as simple as coming up with the points for the trend line or for the for the trend line. It's just important to use the date time point instead of the bar number point. It makes it stay more accurate. This is the daily rip, so I want to know what stock ran the biggest on Tuesday, 10/24 example. Yeah, man. Let me see. Go back to the daily rip. So you just have to go to previous rips, and I don't think that you can go to it by putting in the specific day. Like what I used to do is I used to, for every rip, I just kind of like you're doing with your spreadsheet and you save everything. For every rip, I would just save it all, right? And so then I can go back to my saved files and look for the specific day that had the biggest runner, and then I can use that for my own info. But I don't think that you can pull that up from the site, so you have to go to like previous rips, and then you have to go to show more, and then show more, and then show more. So here we have 1026, that's 1024, but let's see, if we go to 1024, it should say, there's previous rips. Okay, so here's the heat map there. Here's like, it show you like the active ones for the day. Mullen, I guess, was a huge mover for 1024. But actually, man, I don't know if you use StockTwits at all, but using the daily rip, but this is, I used to read this like every morning. I mean, it gives you a really good breakdown of what happened the previous day in the stock market. I mean, and it kind of hits on all the different sectors just a little bit, hits on all the major news just a little bit. They keep it interesting. They, always doing something like that, or they have little jokes or something like that. Obviously it's intended to be informational, and it's not intended to be like biased or subjective. So they try to put objective information in here, and then they have the links that don't suck, so they have some other links and stuff. All right, so here you can go to the previous rip. So instead of 1024, to be what, 1023? So the previous rip. Yep, so there's 1023. But beyond that, I don't know of a quicker way to get through the rips. Like I said, I used to save them on my Samsung Notes, and then I'd make a link for it. And then so, like if you go up here, I don't know, obviously you have this extra title here. Let's see, if we tried to adjust this and just did 1015, could we shortcut their site? Nope. So you gotta have that name. Yeah, gotta have that name. But yeah, StockTwits, and that's about the most that I use for StockTwits. Is StockTwits has a lot of other information where people are posting and stuff, but that's what I mostly use StockTwits for. All right, so just for kicks and giggles though, let's see what Mullen had for, what was it, 1023? So we probably have to go back. Oh, and there's my rectangle. It looks kind of funky there. 1023. That's definitely within the last 10 days. And it's 1023. No, was it 1024? Yeah. 1024. I mean, it had a huge move, right? Yeah, so again, if you kind of missed a couple days on the charts or something like that, you want to go back and see what some of the largest runners were for the day. Look at that StockTwits, that daily rip, and it'll give you some insight onto what you may have missed. And just looking at this, I'm just looking at these descending resistance lines, and they're kind of all over the place. Boom, there's one. It did move up a little bit. Boom, there's one. There's one. I mean, but because the liquidity is so low, we probably need to move it up to a higher time frame than the 1 minute at least. Okay, so it popped again on the 26th after the 24th. Yeah, but definitely some descending resistance lines that that broke. And actually, I think I'm gonna change the color of this because this is my descending resistance. I want to change this to red. And I can't change it from here because how come I can change it from there? It should have been set. All right. Go here. Trendline practice. No, we're gonna go to edit the easy language and we're gonna change it to red. Let's get need to find out what the RGB is. RGB for red. 255.00. So down here for our color, 255. Is this? This is the fill color. Nope, this is for the ellipse. For our line, trend line dot create. That's the transparency number right there, 30. So we need to change this to 255, and then this will give us a red line. Red lines throughout. Red lines for everybody. All right, I'm gonna make this more like 70, so it'll show up a little bit more. There we go, a little bit more visible. Now I need to make another one of these for the for support, but I'll do that later. Let's get this rectangle out of here. It's just visibly in our way. Rectangle practice. Move. Move. Had it on here 3 times. All right. So let's see what we can come up with for something. ABVC. Trendline practice. ABVC. And actually, let's go back to the daily rip and see what happened on, what was it, Friday? If there was another large mover, because like I said, I don't know. I wasn't really in it. All right, several names on the stock twitch trending tab. Oh, and then they also have the trending tab as well. So it'll show you like what a lot of people are, have their eye on. So I also go to what is it, Benzinga, like pre-market, and get an idea there of what the gainers, what the movers are for the day. And then of course I have, I've got my own little radar screen going on with TradeStation that shows, what's moving for the day, and it might be filtered out by price or something like that. So got several places I go to. But the weekend, I want to see what the rip was for. This is the weekend rip. I want to see what it is for Friday. So double down, 27, 20. Well, that's for the week. Little cute doggy. Little cute doggy. 27, 28, 27. Yeah, I saw something about that. This was like the lowest close in 5 months or something like that. So, what was active on the day? Active on the streams. Sava. Well, those were down. Everything was down. ICU. Heard about ICU. APLM. So let's see ICU and APLM. Did you mess with either one of those, ICU? Okay, yeah, there you go. APLM, you noticed that one was a decent run on Friday. Yep. Last week it did have 5 extreme movers up over 250%. Okay, Invo. I think Invo moved recently as well, right? Invo was one of them that didn't Invo do something else? on the daily. Let's see what's going on the daily. Invo. Okay, Invo moved really on the 23rd or so. So on the 15-minute time frame. Yeah. Okay, that was Invo back there. So, you know, if we're looking at Invo, my little script for the descending trend line, it has made an initial point here around the 25th, and then it made another point here around the 27th. So it's showing. And then, of course, if you caught the last video, that orange ellipse was created whenever I get a swing high. It creates that orange ellipse, and it starts a point for the descending trend line. So we have another orange ellipse here, descending trend line. There's the other dot there. So now we're down here, right about to try to crest this descending trend line. But of course, you want to see it crest, and then come back and support, and then go up. And then also this line here, this swing high from this level, you kind of want to see it go above this line too. So not just above this descending resistance, but you also want to see it go above this general range in here. So Invo might have something else in it, might have something else in it. Not a whole lot going on with the move up though. No consistent moves up that I could probably code for. Let me see, 1 minute time frame going back on the 23rd. Yeah, see, all those are just gap ups. Gap down, gap down, gap up, gap up. There's I'm not good enough to come up with code to manage those gaps. So there's nothing I can do with that. Let's see, APLM. What did that do? Trying to look back at the previous big runners and see if they have a history of secondary runs like 9 out of 10 times the stock. That's a big whoa. Yeah, yes they do. They just fade back down. I mean, just a slow fade. The big runner, yep. People just taking profit along the way. Either that, and or there could be some fishy business going on where the companies are helping to spike that move, and then the company is just selling off into the liquidity, and that's not good business. But it is what it is. All right, let's see. So APLM. Yeah, and then so that's the other thing, NASCAR, is like when it comes to those runners like that, it's like, all right, well, you don't expect for them to continue to run, so it's really best, kind of like you're doing, if you can catch the runners before they run, or what I'm trying to do, I'm trying to interject myself when I find them on Benzinga's pre-market movers, when I find them on my scanner, when they're showing up on StockTwits. Then I've got them on my chart, and I'm implementing one of these algos, or I'm looking at the descending trend. I'm looking at something to capture it as it goes. But then once it goes past the that line of death, whatever it is, if it's that line or if it's this line, wherever it goes past that, and then it just sinks away. Once it passes this, and it just sinks away. And it just sinks away. I guess you want to probably try to get out as soon as you can. So, yeah. But I've really enjoyed though making this descending trend line. I'm just amazed at how well it it's not that it works well, I guess, but let's see, where's this line at? This one starts from here, and then the second point is created here. But so I tell you, me in the past, what I do is I'll make money through here. I'll make money through this area. I mean, because we're all making money through that area, right? If we're going long, we're making money because it's going up, or we're holding and it's going up. And then all of a sudden, when it sinks down, I don't know when to get out. And not only do I not know when to get out, but when it hesitates here, I'll get in again, right? Because if here you look back and you say, oh, well, it's in this zone of liquidity, let me buy some more. And then it drops, and then it goes here, and it goes like, oh, well, it's in this general zone here and here, so I'll buy some more. And then when it drops, and then it goes, oh, well, it's finding support at the resistance here and the support here, so I'll buy some more. Yeah, but maybe not. Or maybe you just, when it drops below this line here that we talked about, when it drops below that line there, and we just make that thick, when it drops below this line, this ascending support, why don't you just get out? Why don't you just get out and just say, you know what, I'll find another significant place to get in. But then this descending trend line, now that you're watching it, this descending trend line all of a sudden pops up, and it's like, oh, is that a time to get in? And it may not be the best time to get in, but it certainly wasn't here or here or here or here after this descending trend line showed up and it was crossed. That's when you can really see that everything is kind of halted. The downward move is halted. So I just find a lot of, I'm just loving that right now. And so I haven't had a lot of time to sit and play with the chart because I'm not actively trading right now. But I'm going to be excited to try to see how that works out in my favor. It's not worth trying to keep the second move in May. That's recent move. It's on the message. Yep. Yeah, the ones who have been saying yeah, the descending trend line. The break with these can be explosive. Yeah. So do you trade those descending trend lines, or what do you trade? Are you trading Bollinger Bands, RSI, descending trend lines? You're looking for high liquidity. You're looking for high volume areas. You're looking for high action, explosive action, inside candles, outside candles. What is it? Not the Gravedigger Doji, but yeah, I guess it is. Is it the Gravedigger Doji? I kind of knew the names for a while, and then I let them go. But all right, so I'm gonna get rid of some of this stuff, and then I'm just gonna see if I can put something together that works for this one. All right, so. But I know what I'm going to end up doing. I'm going to end up making a script that looks something like this. If the price crosses the descending resistance line within so many candles and crosses over the most recent swing high with a volume greater than the 6-period moving average, then that's a good place to take an entry. And I think that's what I was talking about the last time, is I have to figure out how to indicate or find the logic that says that the price is crossing over said trend line. That's what I've got to figure out. So I gotta make myself a note of that. All right, but anyway, let's try. So open is less than 25. Say 25. We're just gonna do this one. It's true. 2-minute ABC. see. Why don't you like that? It is verified. 1029.
Check for entry.
Now, this is not a volume distribution block.
Check for entry.
So I don't know what you just did. Okay. All right, so we have those. I mean, in its simplest form. All right, and then one of the things I like to see is that the slope of the 200 moving average is moving up. That means that the stronger trend is moving up. So we'll say that slope linear regression of the slope, which would be price and length. Price will be the 200 period moving average, and the length will be just 2 bars. Linear regression of slope is greater than 0. All right, so it's only going to be firing on these where the slope is moving up. One of the things that I've been looking at though is not just that the slope is moving up, but also the rate of change at which is moving up. So not just looking at the slope, the slope of the 200 moving average, but here we go down here, but the fast period moving average compared to the slow, the fast slope of the 200 moving average versus the slow slope of the 200 moving average. And so the slow slope of the 200 moving average is something like 10 periods, and the fast slope is something like 2 periods. Let's look at it. Let's see what I call it. All right, so that so the slow slope is 30 periods, the fast slope is 10 periods. And then this guy right here can just get out because I was doing something else with that. Okay. So ABBC. So you can see here, and that's what I did when I created this this box right here in the dashboard. I'm actually referencing what's happening in said situation down here. And so what's happening down here is reflecting, it's being reflected in this box up here. Not only is it being reflected in the color of the box, whether it be dark blue, light blue, yellow, or red, it's also reflected in the number here. So we do want to see, like I said, we do want to see that the slope is moving up, that it's a positive slope, and we also want to see that the slow period moving average is moving faster than the fast period moving average is moving faster than the slow period moving average, and they're both positive. Okay. All right, let's see if I can zoom in on this area. All right, so we see in this area specifically, when you get down here and this slope crosses under the yellow line, this is crossing under the 0. So that means that now the slope, the 200 period moving average, is effectively moving down. It's negative. It's moving down. Gotta love calculus for that. And who said you'll never use calculus? All right, so we know that, and I mean, you can see it in the chart, right? So, I mean, we could call this a pullback. We could call this one here a pullback, but for all intents and purposes, the chart just kind of started failing like in here, right? Not only that, but look at that support level that we had drawn from some other time. Look, we clicked on that. It began 1026. So this trend line began back on 1026. We're referencing, this is 1027, but it began back on 1026. Okay, it came from all the way left-hand side of the screen, but when the price came above it, it retested on it, it moved up, and then once it fell below it, Now it's resistance, now it's resistance, boom, boom. This is your pullback, but it still comes to that level of resistance, and it's failed, right? So again, that's why I love having these algos pulling information from the left-hand side of the screen that you would never see when you're looking at this. You see this low liquidity, you're like, okay, nothing's happening over here. Forget about it, right? And so then you're trading this uptrend, right? But you may not be cognizant of, like I said, where those newer levels are, because you're not looking at that left-hand side of the screen, but it comes over here. So that's what I love about that. All right, so like I said, it's kind of failing in this range here, right? As it's came through that level and then bounced up and hit a resistance. What else also happened generally in this range? Go here, straight down. I mean, this 200 period moving average, the slope is negative. I mean, it went from going up, 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 up. That's this red line, to going down. Okay, so that's one of your clues. And then also, like I said, over here, what I've been curious about recently is trying to maybe get into the chart when the fast period moving average is over the slow period moving average. So see here, if you look at this as a potential entry, what happened? All right, so we'll draw a vertical line here. This is essentially the lowest point here. But if you go down, you see that this black line, which is the fast period moving average of the slope, is moving just over the slow period moving average, which is the red. Okay, so it just crossed it here. Not only did it cross it here, but also we get a break of that descending resistance. So we get a break of the descending resistance. We get a cross of the price over like the 9, 15, 25 period moving average in here, and the slope of the 200 period moving average. And again, we're talking about this red line. These lines, these two lines here, only are referencing this red line. They're not referencing the moving averages at all. They're only referencing the red line. But the numbers are so finite, the numbers are so small, the increments are so minute that small changes in this red line look big right here. And when you're just looking at this red line, just visually, you don't see any of this. You don't see these crossovers. But I see it. I see it. I see it. And just as soon as the big fish are aware that I see it, I'm gonna take this video down. All right, but so I want to find when the black line is crossing over the red line. The black line, we're saying that is the 10 period moving average of the slope. And then the red line is the 30 period. So we got to see when that crosses. So let's go back to our ABVC and then just add that in. Maybe take these other conditions out. Just add that in and see where it pops up at. Let's see what that looks like. So take out condition 2, take out condition 3, and then we're going to go with this. All right, so we're going to say that the linear regression of this 200 period moving average of the 10, which is our fast, crosses over the 30. So, and we'll just make these values so that we can use those in maybe other conditions if we need to, if we want to. I don't know that we want to, because this is just going to be short and sweet. All right, so Linrig, they have it on here 2 different ways. So, never sure which one I want to use. Linear regression of this SA200 of the 10, which is fast. I'm going to copy that. down here, paste, make that at 30. So we're going to say that the we'll just put it right now. So in another formula or condition, we might say that that cross happened within 3 bars, and the volume went up, and the close is over the open, which just says that it's a bullish bar, something like that. So for right now, we're just going to put that value 2. Can we do this? Crosses over value 3. It's got to be able to work inch-a-bar though. Inch-a-bar, yep. Say 210 crosses over 30. Yeah, like I said, I think because those bars, because it's not happening inch a bar, like it's not crossing over it, it's not triggering it. What happens is you get a new level, and then all of a sudden you get a new value, and then all of a sudden, boop, it's created. New value, boop, is created. So it's not technically crossing over it. So what we could say is that instead of saying it's crossing over it, we can say that the value of 2 was less than 3 a bar ago, and now it's greater than 3, which means that it crossed in there somewhere. But that's going to be our workaround to that. So we'll say that value 2. What did I just say? Value 2 a bar ago is less than value 2 a bar ago is less than value 3 of this bar, and value 2 of this bar is greater than value 3 this bar. Okay. All right. For some reason, I think that it's just not showing up, so we got to go back here. And yep, we're on the different one altogether. Remember, because we were back like on this screen over here. We're on this screen or this screen or this screen. Yeah, we're on this screen. All right. It's APLM, but this is the code that we just put in. These are the crosses. That's a high cross right there, right? Yeesh. However, this one looks good. Boom. This one looks good. This one looks good. That one I can deal with because it doesn't really break much lower than that, right? I mean, it dips in there, but I could live with that. This guy is a no-go. This one looks okay. I mean, it did dip below. You have to figure out what your stop loss is. With every single script that I create, any script that anybody creates, any idea that anybody has, there's going to be a risk to reward ratio, and it's going to be absolutely different for every single one. So you got to figure out what it is. Is it this point down here? Is it this swing just before it? I don't know. Maybe it's this one. But you got to figure it out. So that one is not that bad either. And again, it depends on where you are, what your take profit is. I mean, we're on the 1 minute time frame. Could we find this on the 1 minute time frame, switch over to the 15-second time frame, and then find a better entry or a better risk reward ratio? Sure. Would it be kind of a scalp? Yeah. But from here, it moves up a good deal. I mean, from here it moves up. Let's say we're about there. It moves up that far, which is 10%. From here down to this bottom level or potential stop loss, if you did that, that's 3.8%. So 3.8 to 10%, that's roughly 1 to 3-ish ratio. So, which isn't bad. It's better than 1 to 1. So all I'm saying is just make it a 1 to 3, set your stop loss, or know it's a 1 to 3, make it a 1 to 2, get out of the 1 to 2, make you some money. Right here, not sure why. Let's go and see why this one crossed like this at APLM, because that crossed up pretty high for it to be, for the fast period moving average to be moving over the slow period moving average. So APLM, let's see. We had it on this chart, or did we approach a level or something? Ooh, there's a lot going on the APLM. Let's just get rid of. Can we get rid of the swing studies? The support resistance. Okay, I think APLM is on this guy, and then here we're just gonna bring in that specific. Show me. Bring it over from the other workspace. Okay. Got a lot more potential entries here. There's one that's at the top there. Is that the one that I think that's the one that we're looking at, was like in here was this guy. So let's zoom in. It's a 15-second time frame. I think I was on the 1 minute time frame. Yeah, this was the 1 minute time frame. Like I said, for every different time frame, you're going to see something different. So 15-second time frame, we're getting, there's always going to be more noise, but I'm just looking at where these green dots are. This one's a little bit high. That one is at the crest. That one is low. Now this one shouldn't have showed up at all. Okay, all right. So this one showed up, but we shouldn't be getting these at all because this the 200 period moving average is moving down. So we do need to turn this one back on. This says that the slope of the 200 period moving average should be moving up, because we do want to see that. Turn that on and we'll get rid of that guy. All right, so that guy's gone. So we're not taking any entries when that 200 period moving average is moving down. Not on this time frame. No sir, buddy. No sir. Okay. All right, so we got that one. Got that one. So the next question is going to be, all right, so, and you see the logic that I said, right? I said that the that fast period moving average is below it on the bar before, and it's above it on this bar. And that's what happens up here. All right, so it's crossing over. This was a nice little cross under. So, and up here, the fast is crossing under the slow for the move up. Here, it hesitated. Huh. I think maybe this, I have to make myself a note, indication that indicator reversing. Maybe the chart is, or the trend is about to reverse. All right, so I always kind of look at that stuff to see, what's the indication that the trend is about to reverse, because typically, like I said, we'll see that on the way up, we'll see that as the fast period moving average crosses over the slow period moving average for the slope, that we have a move up, right? And so now over here, we see this hesitation right here. Here it worked, right? The fast moved over the slow, and we got to move up. Here it's starting to fail, right? So the fast, well, first of all, the fast started to move over, it hesitated, and then the chart moved up. So I could call like this the fake out, right? So like this is, I'm gonna call this fake number 1, because the fast didn't move over the slow, but yet the price moved up. So this is like an area of interest. All right, and then so here, now, where all those other times are the price moved over and we got a long entry, now the price, now the fast is moving over the slow and the long entry is not valid. Okay, so now we're gonna say invalid entry. And so then I would think that, okay, well, maybe this is the area where the chart is about to reverse from a long chart ascending trend to a descending trend. And if we zoom out, that's kind of what happened, right? I mean, it hit this high point, it went up just a hair more, stuttered, and then fell hard. So I have to remember that. It's like, I mean, like I said, this is my homework. This is my homework now. It's funny. I talked to my homeboy, and he says, man, you like you back in grad school, man. Like you studying hard for this stuff all the time. I'm like, yeah. So, but I think it's gonna pay off. It's gonna pay off. But I'm just trying to figure out how I can put all these things together. So look at the descending trend line combined with finding a potential entry with the cross of the slope. And that's it, man. That's me for the day. NASCAR, you have anything else, man? Do you have anything else you can think of? I think that I'm gonna play around. So pretty much what I do is, like, when I do this homework stuff, I come up with these algorithms, and then the next day I'll have 1, 2, 3, 4. I have several charts just running throughout the day while I'm going and doing whatever. I'll just have them running, and then I'll come back and I'll take screenshots of everything throughout the day to see what actually happened, what worked, what didn't work, what I got to go back to the drawing board about. But like I said, I started off, I was just going to make an indicator referencing, below the moving average, volume, etc. But found something a little bit more interesting, which is implementing or employing the fast and slow moving averages of the slope, which I started to mess with this other day. And I told you earlier that as part of my dashboard up here with this S, the S is referencing the slope, that it changes colors. So I have it to change colors to like light blue if it's it's a condition. I have to, man, did I write it down? If the slope is moving, if the 200 period moving average is moving in the positive direction, and the slow is over the slow is over the fast slope. It's light blue. It's kind of. If the fast moving average is over the slow moving average, then that box will be yellow. It's like, pay attention. No, I think the light blue is, yeah. Anyway, it's color coded, and I just came up with it on Friday, so I hadn't committed it to memory, so spare me some dignity. All right, let's see what it says. What did I put? RSI, nope, it's the slope. RSI box for dashboard. I think I put it on the RSI box. I put it down below. Yeah, slope B. So if the so the slow slope has to be continuously moving up, and that'll make it yellow. And I think this is my blue. If the slow slope is less than the slow slope before it, so the slow slope is moving down, it's still, the 200 period moving average is still moving up, but it's weakening. All right, then it's going to be, I think then it's going to be dark blue. If the 200 period moving average is moving up and it's still got good strength, then it'll be blue. If the 200 period moving average is moving up and it's got great strength, then it'll be yellow. And if the 200 period moving average is below the yellow line, or it's moving down, then it'll be red. So, all right, let's see. Yeah, man. Yeah. It'll pay off. It'll pay off one day. Let's see. Flip it on the same. Makes sense today. Run this morning. Know which point. This is small caps. You know what? I mean, I hadn't routinely looked at that NASCAR, so that's a good point, though. At one time I was looking at like overall. The overall market, trying to keep my finger on that pulse. What did I do with it? Is it viewing perch? No, market overview. Yeah, so I was trying to keep an idea on what was going on the overall market. So I look at this screen that I had set up, but I don't look at it as often as I should. And you're right. I mean, oddly enough, as much as I look at small cap, micro, penny stocks, I don't look at the what's going on with small cap stocks overall. So that's a good point, man. I'll add that into my mix. What's the small cap index? I knew what it was at one time. Small cap index. What are they using for that? Russell 2000. And I don't even know what it's going to be called on this platform. Markets. See, we do have this radar screen here. Let me just put it over here for the time being. Russell 2000 small caps, or S&P 600. Dow Jones US small caps. Come on. Contains. Look up. Russell 2000. Is this it? RYLD? know you know what it is. Yeah. Russell 2000. Okay. I was gonna say I knew you knew what it is. NASCAR. So I guess you keep your finger on that pulse pretty well. But I don't know which one. Should I go with the iShares? Let's see. Index. Russell. COE, Global Russell, Volatility. Mini Russell Index. Russell Index. Russell 2000. There's the decline of issues. Composite. I want the issues. There it is. RUT. There we go. All right. Dollar sign RUT. Okay, you see there? Okay, there you go. See, you already knew what it was. RUT. All right. Nevertheless, I'm not a big baller, right? So I don't have access to that kind of data. Data request failed. Account not enabled. There you go. So I got to figure out a way to RUT index for TradeStation. Let's see if they give me another option. Maybe RT 200. Nope. Still not enabled for that kind of data. Man, I appreciate you for bringing that to my attention, though, because that's going to make me stronger. When I get stronger, you get stronger. We get stronger together. You know what I mean? So, but I'll figure something out here, because it was the same way with TradeStation, with Thinkorswim. You just gotta figure out what that platform allows you to use. So it's not letting me use this though. Was a small cap that had a 4-hour run, big moves, but they happened quickly. Didn't have a stop run all day long. Yeah. But no, I mean, I'm with you. I mean, I'm not saying either that I would sit there and stare at the Russell 2000 all day. I don't stare at the S&P all day either. But you know, I for penny movers, for quick movers, that kind of thing. Yeah, I mean, I get it. When I forget what the Greek letter is. Is it beta? But either way, they don't always run with the market. However, if the market is running strong, more people are putting their money into the market. So yeah, you'd more likely have a longer runner. I mean, is that a reason to put your money into a penny stock and just sit on it all day? Probably not. But yeah, same thing with small caps. If small caps are moving, then it's probably more likely that your penny stocks and those kind of things will have money coming into it as well. It's the motion of the ocean, right? So yeah, I mean, I think I should be looking at it just to see how, like you said, I mean, I think you mentioned it earlier, the stocks that run, how often do they have another run? And not only how often do they have another run, but what are the market conditions in which they ran the first time, if they have another run, right? So when they ran the first time, were the market conditions really poor? It was just indicative that people were just, playing, roulette with their money, or were the market conditions good and it was smart money putting their money into the stock, and then it just had a pullback, and now when market conditions get good again, they'll put their money back in it. So yeah, I mean, looking at all those pieces of the puzzle, it's a puzzle. So if you pretend like you got these pieces over here, then you can finish the puzzle without those pieces, then hey, You'll have a duck without some eyes. That's all I'm saying. Russell all right, so this is what I'm looking at for trade station Russell indices 1000, and then it gives you the ticker or the symbol. But I don't even see RUT come up over here as it did earlier. There it is, Russell 2000 index. But again, let me see if I can do the growth index. I don't know. Russell mid cap index, RMCC. Let me try that. I just want to get something. Nothing. Index. Russell trade station index. Look up. And out of all these, I have no clue which one, my account is approved for. RUT there. I mean, that's what I'm looking for, right? Also 2000 index. You got the growth index, equal weight, combined. Yeah. I'll add it to it later, my friend. But like I said, I appreciate you bringing that back to my attention. So for now, we're just going to go with I want you guys to dream about this crossover of the 200 period moving average, that slope, and see if we can make money on these candles here. And this one here didn't cross. Oh, this one was kind of a fake out, right? So if you look up here and say you take this off, right? So say you take off the slope. Now you're just trading these green candles and you see this move up and you're like, oh, it's crossing, let me take that entry. It's not a great entry. Why? Because when you put it back on and you see what's actually going on down here, that, if we draw a line to the bottom, that was another kind of effect. This really didn't cross under the 200 period moving average appreciably. It didn't. So you shouldn't take any of that right there, right? Wait until it gets under here. Wait until until it goes below it, and then, if anything, that would be you would take that one, and I mean that one's not much better, but I wouldn't take any one of those. And then you got this one. You can take this one, but yeah, all those look good. All those are okay. You just have to. It's a tool. It's a hammer. If you hit yourself in the head with it, it's gonna hurt. If you hit it with if you hit a nail with it, then you put something together. So we just trying to put things together here. We have tools. We just have to figure out how to use them. And with that, what you got? Thanks for streaming tonight. We're going to, hey man, absolutely. We're going to kill it this week. And I'm going to try to come on a little bit more frequently because, like I said, I try to do a couple weeks stuff with rental properties, and then I'll do a couple weeks of stocks just to give myself some breathing room, because as you know, stocks can be intense. Emotionally, it can be intense, especially if you can't really figure it out and you're not giving yourself that grace, that breathing room to relax or to fail, right? So we're not failing. We're just learning better ways to win. So with that, man, I'll see you later in the week, and we'll put some stuff together. But I want you to dream about this descending resistance here. I think you already said you noticed it. When I put this when I put this line, this script together on here, I think I just made it like a the strength had to be like 20 candles on either side of the swing high, and I hadn't adjusted it at all. But this seems to work. So I don't know what you're using for your resistance lines, you know, what you consider to be substantial enough to make it a point on your chart. But we'll talk about that next time. And yeah, man, let's hit some breakouts. Let's make some money. All right, with that, man, I'm out. I'll chat with you later. Peace.